Hey there, Cosmic Nuts and Cosmic Naughties, and welcome to another Cooking with Cos. Today, we are going to make bacon cheddar ranch pull-apart bread. Yum, yum, yum. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix up the cheesy part of it before we get to cutting the loaf. So yeah, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. And yes, it's best if you can shred it yourself. If you can't, well, I just had access to this stuff already. And then we're going to take about 1/3 of a cup of bacon bits. Toss that in there. And then last but not least, about 1/4 cup of red onions. All right, and now let's give this a mix. It's all mixed up. All right, that looks pretty evenly mixed, so we're going to toss that off to the side. And now we're going to talk about bread. Now, most of the time, you're going to see these recipes, and they're going to ask for a sourdough bread. Now, a sourdough round loaf can run about $4 or $5, and honestly, I have a real hard time finding those. I think the only place I can get them at is at Vaughn's. But what I like to do instead is, because I'm a cheap bastard, is I'll get these Italian loaves from Wally World. And yeah, they're like $1, unless you're really thinking ahead and you get them when they're a day old. So they're like, 70 cents, something like that. And a little bit firmer. That day old actually works out in your favor for this. And the reason why is because we got to cut this up to have some place to stuff that cheese. Oh, and so what we're going to do is we're going to cut these diagonally, and you really want to use a serrated edge blade for this, and you want to cut most of the way through, but not all the way through, and kind of give good chunk size. Like, I like to use the knife as a guide. Now we want to go across the other way, and yeah, I think this is going to be probably the best place to start. This is where it gets tricky, and why you really want a serrated knife, because the other types of knives, and another reason why they suggest going with a firmer loaf like a sourdough, is because it'll hold up to this cross cut a little bit better. But I found that if you use a serrated bread knife and don't force it, let the actual knife do the work, that it turns out all right, even with this softer Italian loaf bread. And yeah, now that we got it cut, I'm going to get this on some aluminum foil, as well as a baking sheet, so that we can put it in the oven. Right. So now that we got this on some foil, what we want to do is get this cheese and bacon and onion mix all in these, grooves, so that it can go down in there and melt. Get all melty and delicious. Want to do the same thing across these cuts as well. Make sure, plenty of stuff in between all of this. Oh. All right, and then I like to just kind of spread it open a little bit, and all the goodies drop down inside. Get all this excess stuff, throw it on top, because we want all that goodness, don't we? I know I do anyways. Oh, that cheesy goodness. And then what we're gonna do is I've already got a half a cup of melted butter here. And into that, I'm gonna add roughly a tablespoon of some ranch seasoning. Give that a whirl. All right, where'd my spoon go? We want to get that all mixed up, incorporated in there. And then we're just gonna pour it across this. Really let it get in there. All right. I'll actually turn it a little bit because I think this covers a little bit better when I do it this way. Take that, plop that on a baking sheet, then we're going to pop that in the oven at 350 degrees for 20 minutes, and then we'll come back and do a little something, something. All right, so this has been in the oven for about 20 minutes. We're going to pull it out. And then we're going to take the aluminum foil and pull it back to expose the top. And I just kind of like to roll it underneath here because a lot of the times with this Italian bread, it's not, because the bread's not quite as sturdy, the aluminum kind of helps hold its shape. But yeah, look at all that. And then we're going to pop this back into the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes so that the cheese is nice and melty, the top's nice and crunchy. So yeah, we'll be back. And then it comes out of the oven looking like that. Oh yeah, doesn't that just look, I mean, it's got that crunch now and everything to it. And I'm gonna be 100% honest. Most of the time, this is finger food. But I did wanna, I think, give you the best looking bite sort of thing. So I think that's gonna be easiest done with a fork to be able to give you a good look. So let's go ahead and get a chunk of this out, shall we? I mean, look at that cheesy goodness. Oh. Now, I did hopefully learn my lesson last week, and I let this cool down good 5 minutes before getting this bite. So hopefully it's cooled down enough. But yeah, I mean, oh, yeah. Cheers. The butter with that ranch, the bacon, the cheese. I mean, have you ever seen a dollar loaf look so pretty? I promise you, probably haven't had one that tastes this good. But yeah, I hope you like this one. If you like this recipe, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every time I put out a new video, which I've been getting them out on Friday on a regular basis. So fingers crossed we can get that going. And remember, I'm not here to make you skinny. I'm here to make you happy, because happy is healthy. And that's going to do it for me today. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz.
Send Carson money on PayPal so he can buy himself something to eat. Then he won't have to sell his body to Albanian men on the street. Where broke hippies living out in the desert, no money and no shoes. And he may smoke the marijuana, but at least he won't spend it on booze.